it's Liz. I am having the best time with my little, and so I haven't been on socials, and I'm not gonna make a skate video today, and I just have kind of been, I'm just having a good time with my kid. We're just hanging out and cuddling and stuff and making art. Oh, she brought these like plain, like white leather necklaces, and so I had like these little like chains on little baubles on some canvas pouches that my markers were in, and I took one of them off of there, and then I put them on to our little necklaces, because you're supposed to wear it, you know, the other way, but it always ends up being this way, which I like. And then I just added a little, like, so it's like gold and silver, and then I painted the leather on both of them, so we have little matching necklaces. And I finished this fanny pack for myself, and I put this is one, like the same kind of bubble idea that I took the other one from, and then I put this on here. This is from one of her toys at some point. This little pretend measuring tool or whatever. And these fanny packs, I had more plain ones of these back at my apartment that I was getting around to painting to like put on my site, but I never got around to painting them to put on my site. And I actually had some that I like. This fanny pack thing is like what I started on like 2 years ago, or maybe more, or whatever. And I never even sold them. I just ended up using a couple of them, and I donated a bunch of them. But words. Anyways, when I was packing up my little bit of stuff that I did get to keep with me, I took this blank one with me, because my red one is on its way out, and I thought it would be a nice like exercise and self-care to paint this one for myself. So and it would be cool to see, you know, like how the difference between then and now. And I'm much faster and use much less paint, and yeah, I didn't really think about this one. I just kind of went with it. I don't know if I think it's very cute. I would have had more negative spacing in here if I would have thought about it, but that's okay. I quite like it. It's very, very, very cute. I'm very pleased with it. And so, yeah, we're just having the best time. I'm having a great time. I'm very much, worried about my car. I have made a little bit of headway in my crowdfunding. I think I've gotten like $100 in donations, which is freaking awesome. That means I only need $1,000, so that's awesome. I mean, $1,000 is a lot of money. But it's also a totally doable amount of money to crowdfund, and yeah, I'm trying to keep stay positive about things also, not be such a worrywart, be pragmatic and planful as much as I can be, but not get too there's only so much that can be done in this moment right now, or whatever, so yeah, if you are a resource person and you want to contribute to my car getting fixed, because I live in my car and it's really important that it runs, you know what I mean, especially in December in Oregon. So there's actually like a flyer for my car crowdfunding whole gig in my most recent post on my YouTube, and on my TikTok, and on my Instagram. And I'm dispatched from the moon all of those places, except for one of them. It's a Y instead of an I in dispatch, because the I in dispatch was taken, and I think that's Instagram. But anyways, that's like, nobody cares this. Oh, okay, I wanted to say this thing has been on my mind. Not this, well, I've been thinking about like ancestral veneration practices, and as somebody who has been living in poverty, since I really did, like, developed my own personal spiritual practice, and started venerating my ancestors, or consciously venerating my ancestors, I guess. And who has struggled with executive function her whole life. There's a couple of things that I've just been thinking about in terms of ancestral veneration. And a lot of the conventional wisdom that we have around it is about keeping your house clean and making food for them and making sure that they have gifts, material gifts, it's about your labor and your material resources. And I want to point out that we don't all have the same access to labor and material resources. First and foremost, hold on one second. There's going to be a sound of water because I have to fix this part of my hair. It's gonna drive me crazy, and then me playing with it is gonna drive you crazy. And I'm trying to help all of us. You know what I mean? So never say that I never did anything nice for you, because look at me right now. Look what I just did for all of us. Out of the kindness of my heart. Okay, having an altar space. Sometimes you don't have a place to put an altar. I don't have a place to put an altar in my car. And quite frankly, even if I did, I guess I could make a little, altar space in my car, but, some of us have a surplus of time and labor and material resources, and some of us don't. And it's up to you to determine if that's true, if that's true for you or not. Your ancestors don't want you to suffer. They don't want you to do something for them. If you only have enough spoons to make yourself dinner and wash your face and go to bed, and if you don't have enough energy to wash your face, that's okay. Just go to bed. But if that's the only energy you have, then eat and go to bed. Because we can be performative in everything, a lot of ancestral veneration is performative, and it's also wealth signaling. Quite frankly, I'm just going to keep it 100. And, and that is venerating someone's ancestors, because somebody's ancestors are into that shit. So there's also that, okay? So, yeah, great point, Liz. It depends on which ancestors you want to venerate also, I personally, my relationship with my ancestors and is about unconditional love, love for our individual humanity, our freedom and our safety on a soul and body level. My spiritual practice is about me feeling free and me feeling safe in my body, and me wanting the same for my ancestors ahead and behind me. So in that vein, when I do things to prioritize me feeling safe and me feeling free in my body, I'm venerating my ancestors. And when I nitpick myself around, oh my God, I can't go to bed without cleaning the stove, because what if I don't, what if that's the reason that I'm still poor or whatever, because I can't clean my kitchen? No. And what if my ancestors are mad at me because I can't go to, I'm leaving a sink full of dirty dishes? They don't fucking care. They see how hard I work. They know how exhausting dishes are for me. They know how much of my labor has been exploited. they don't think I should be doing they think I should be like in a community of people. Like, they understand how fucking bullshit this whole society is, and how like fucked up all of our care tasks are, and how like just backwards all this shit is anyway. They're not mad that you're fucking, bullshit, like bullshitly built apartment is annoying for you to clean and you don't want to clean it or whatever. The way, like you don't want to make it fucking Instagram worthy or whatever. That's fine. They're not mad about that. I promise you. They're mad that you're not contributing to mutual aid. They're mad that you're, judging people in poverty as if like that people choose to live like that, or as if that's like even something that the universe supports. They think that's embarrassing. They don't think, they're not as mad about, you not getting them the fancy cigars or whatever, yeah, unless they are, in which case, I mean, if you have an ancestor and they're mad that you can't get them something, that you don't have the resources to get them, then stop working with them. Like, fuck that. That sounds like my family that I cut off, And also about the whole, like, clean stovetop and clean kitchen shit. They don't say that to men about manifesting now, do they? I don't hear, like, people telling men to make sure the top of your desk is clean, or make sure your stove is clean, or none of your manifestations are going to come in. What? That doesn't sound right. And it's not about the stuff. It's about your mind. It's about your workplace. It's about resetting the energy of the space in which you inhabit. And we do that in many different ways. We can do that with music. We can do that with movement. We can do that with breath work. We can do that with, just like sitting down and thinking, consciously and, like, what's the word I'm thinking of? With intention, that this is the time we take and sit for 5 minutes and just think about how we want our day to go, or think about resetting the energy from yesterday. It's about, having a place. You are in charge of your relationship with your ancestors, and you are in charge of your relationship to veneration. And because we live in a violent society, where the only religion is capitalism and consumerism, everything is about, clean top swag bags, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And don't, like, when that stuff comes in your mind, just be like, no, not right now. I don't think that, you know what I mean? I think that I'm doing my best, and that, if my ancestors think that I'm not doing good enough because my house isn't spick and span clean, then they can come jump in here, clean my house, work 40 hours a week, do the commute, get the kids up to school. Like, they can do all the shit, okay, without any community like my ancestors had. That there is something that our ancestors had that we don't, and that is community. And yes, some of our ancestors also did not have community, but what I'm speaking to is the fact that the farther this society advances, the farther away from community we get. Excuse my little, like, weird swallow burp, but yeah, it's always about context of time and place and materials. You, the individual, you are the church. You are the church. You are the cathedral. You are your own spiritual connection to all that is, and so, in the age of misinformation, it's really important that you use your discernment in all things. In all things. Your most important relationship is with yourself and with your like loving kindness to yourself. And if you do have a bunch of like surplus time, you know, if you are somebody who has material resources and, you know, time and labor resources for yourself, and your space is always messy, and you, you know, don't venerate or what, you know, or take time for whatever, then that's a different, then, you know, maybe you should consider that kind of prescriptive, you know, veneration style or whatever. But more to the point is that, you know, it's not about the cards, you know, like similar to tarot, you know, it's not about the item, you know, it's about the effort, the intention, you know. Just thinking about your ancestors is venerating them, you know what I mean? Like, living in your personal purpose is venerating them. Healing generational curse, being honest with your family members. You know, you want to venerate your ancestors, how about you start telling the truth to the people in your family? Depends on what you want to venerate. I mean, we are venerating also. This is a thing to say. This society is deeply spiritual. They're not going to tell you that, but because they're using that to keep you trapped. But it is important that you develop your own spiritual relationship with yourself, because the lack of one is it's not safe. Yeah, it's not safe because there's things happening there, you know. And also don't let, you know, like, because like with any like, you know, religion, methodology, what's the word I'm thinking of, like group that you can be initiated into, we live in capitalism and whiteness ideology in the age of disinformation, and COINTELPRO is like how we got, like, you know, like you could like MK Ultra, slave seasoning, COINTELPRO, covert coercive control. It's all the same thing basically. So it's everywhere and it's in everything. So use your discernment, strengthen your relationship with yourself, and be honest. Those are things that keep you safe. Because lies dirty up your relationship with yourself and make your relationship with yourself unsafe, and then you shut down and you don't trust yourself. So it's important to be honest with yourself so that you can trust and love yourself. Because when you lie to other people, you gotta lie to you're at some point you have to start lying to yourself. You know what I mean? So this has been a tangent that I just wanted, I don't know. Who knows? I don't have to make, like, if you made it this far, you know that I'm just blabbing, but blabbing for a reason. I did just want to say that, yes, ancestral veneration is personal. It is, and it is not, you don't have to buy anything, and you don't have to do anything either. You can start by just thinking about them and asking in your thoughts, you know, for more connection if you want that, or more information if you want that, or, you know, or just set the intention that I'm gonna, you know, come, like, think about where I'm from and what that could mean or whatever. So, yeah. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate everybody who engages with my content. And I'm really excited about my channel and about putting myself out there and sharing the things that I have learned through my life, you know? I don't have a lot of material resources, no, but I am very wealthy in other ways. I am spiritually wealthy. I am emotionally wealthy. I am like physically, you know, like physical health wealthy. I am like mental health wealth, you know? So, and I think that we as a society, we discredit all those things, especially if the material wealth isn't there, you know? If somebody has like all the other wealth that I just listed, because our society is the way it is, that means absolutely nothing to us, especially if there's a materially wealthy person in the room. And that's how we get into a lot of trouble. And that's not necessarily your fault. We're all been indoctrinated into this society. Which reminds me, I just thought of this kind of like analogy for indoctrination, but it is like kind of equal to being forced to develop an addiction. Being, you know, indoctrination is like being forced to make yourself addicted to something, to develop an addiction. So you have an addiction to capitalism, patriarchy, and whiteness ideology that you were, you know, forced to develop by your caregivers and society since the day that you were born. So, you know, yeah, you're indoctrinated. But you can get unindoctrinated. Yeah, you can. It's a slow, long process, but it's super worth it. And it's not all slow. Sometimes things happen really fast. Sometimes you get, you know, sometimes it's like, whoa, you know, but it also is lifelong. There's always, it's not like, you know, like any good battle, you know what I mean? Come on, any good battle is a long battle. Anything worth doing is worth doing slowly. It takes a long time. You know, capitalism, patriarchy, and whiteness ideology want us to believe that everything should be fast, and we should be able to, if you're good at it, you should be able to do it really fast, make a lot of money, and split the profits with me or whatever. But that's not what? Who said that? You know, who said that? That's not true at all. That's not true at all. So, yeah. Thank you for being here. You're fucking rad, you know? And dance your ass off. Belly laugh. Regard people in poverty and in struggle and duress with kindness and compassion, and do your best to not be cruel and judgmental because of your indoctrination into capitalism, patriarchy, and whiteness ideology. Take your cop glasses off, your capitalism, patriarchy, whiteness ideology cop glasses off when you encounter somebody with less resources than you, and be kind. You know what I mean? Be compassionate. No one chooses to struggle like I'm struggling, or other people who depend on mutual aid for survival struggle. Like, nobody is like, yeah, living life. That's not real. That's a fucking false narrative. Like, if somebody is grifting in the mutual aid space, it's because they're suffering and struggling, and they're just, you know, going about the solution in a way that's a little that's toxic. That's, you know, but they're not. But I bet, you know, that they're struggling. You know what I mean? Yes. You want to say hi? Hi, baby.
Can I have
Yeah.
Can we get our shoes on and get the ice cream?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Let's do that. I gotta go. Obviously, I was taking too long in here, and I meant to keep it short, but then I forgot. So, okay. Obviously, that's the world's best human. We're gonna go get some ice cream, so I gotta go. Okay. Bye.